Hi everybody, welcome to a new Plugin Guru video. My name is John Skippy Limcool. How you doing? Welcome. Hey, let me get this going so I can see the chat because I hadn't started this up yet. I have so much to show you guys today. I'm very excited. We have, Paul has been working his little tail off. We've got something really special to show you guys. I'm going to start by actually playing something and just not talking about what I'm doing, and then we'll talk about it after the fact. But I want to show you something. I'll give you a little clue. It says my modular. This is a Unify layer that's not connected to the system. Here, let's make this smaller so we can see what's going on. So it's on its own. So you'll see me on the control page hitting the start button, and when I do, I'll give you a clue. So that starts. So when you hear that stuff start, that's not connected to anything else that I'm doing, which is really exciting. It's a breakthrough. We haven't had this ability before in Unify with this kind of a thing. So check this out. So I'm playing a song, man. In real time. So you have now the ability to set up. Isn't that cool? Hello everybody. I see all the chats. Good to see you. Welcome. So we have the ability now to have step sequencers doing patterns and so forth, and we can turn off the MIDI in. So that way you can say, if it's on, it's using MIDI in. If you say off, now you say what note you want it to trigger, and it can play cool little motif, song ideas, special effects, environmentals, all sorts of things that you can start. And it can do a complete song if you want, or it could just be a one major thing, or like these are like 2-4 major things, and then build around them. Add other layers of Unify doing other things. I have right here switching between a setup where it's, here, let's turn this off a second. I have this turns, as you can see, it turns 2 parts off and 1 part on. What it's doing is it's turning off the left hand of the pad and turning on an OBXD that's doing bass. So I can go from playing let's stop the strings. We got a really cool automated string swell. We have a noise with rhythm thing going on, and I can turn off the rhythm if I want, so it's just a cool texture layer. So I've made like a live performance setup, and then when I switch this, even while the notes are sustaining, it has turned off the left hand of the pad and made it a bass. So now, and then if I turn on the step sequencer and I have the drums going, so I can bring that noise texture. So it's really fun. We are revising this a little bit. I don't think it's here yet. Paul got me a new update this morning. We're going to add one more option here that is a start, stop, and reset. Because as it is, when you have this set to manual clock, right? So it's set so when I hit start, if I don't hit reset, it's not reset it back to the beginning. So I hit reset. Now it starts where it's supposed. And if I stop and I hit play, it's just from the middle of wherever it was at, it's going to just keep going. So we're going to make it so when you stop it, it automatically resets it. So the next time you start up, it will be the same thing as every time. So it's going to basically do that, which would be really nice. You saw I had the drums on and off. That's just turning on and off with the global control right here. Global metronome on. That will turn on and off the metronome. Another thing coming, this is all stuff that's coming hopefully before Christmas. That's our plan. It's a Christmas present to all of you guys with Unify 2. Another thing that he's added that's really interesting and nice, there will be times maybe where we want to have an option where you don't do this, but he now has the metronome set so that it starts on beat 1. So if you start it after beat 1, it won't play until the next beat 1. Which gives you a chance to get your fingers ready to play on the downbeat and have the drums start. It's really hard to like hit this right at the same time that you're playing parts and all that kind of stuff. So now it's set up so that if I have this off and I have the sequencer started, let's see. See, it's taking majors. So it starts on the 1. If I hit stop, now it stops. It's 1 major. 1. Turn it on. It waits until the downbeat until it starts. So these are all performance enhancements to make it so that when you're playing this, we're working with you, you know, not to just jump into all this kind of stuff. So with this, you can have this Unify 2 layer could be as many layers of all of my plugins doing all sorts of rhythmic things that I wanted as a modular synth setup, as complex as you want to get. We no longer have the limit on the number of layers in Unify, so you can have 100 layers. If you want to do a Richard Devine crazy thing going all over the place with all sorts of crazy rhythm and processing and stuff, you can do that. And then set it up to where it doesn't start until you start the clock. And then you have your modular system start up. And this is playing 4 different layers. There's this layer. There's another layer that's doing like a counter melody. Then I have the mod wheel for filtering. So I can bring that up and down. Then I have a really cool little thing that just blurts out every now and then. See how I have all these off except for just every now and then there's an on right here. It's a little distorted guitar blippy thing just to like, this happens a lot in dance music where you just want a little motif that like comes in every now and then, and this is set to 32 measures or 32 steps. And I don't want to play every time here, so say let's go like that. So you can set up these worlds that are part of your composition that you can jam to. You know, with AI doing everything, we're kind of going the opposite direction and making it so that you have the tools to do everything yourself. You can sit here, write music, do creative things, give you more tools, right? So this is one of the things. This needs to be. Oh, this will be an honest video. Yeah, we'll be making a video about it for sure. I have to get more into the social media side of things. I'm too busy making sounds and stuff to sit and make videos. So if any of you guys love to make videos and do social media stuff, if you would email me at unifysupport@pluginguru.com, I would love to find someone to work with that could help with promotion and making shorts and all that kind of stuff. We really need to do more of that. And I'm from the generation before this. And so I just don't have the same fluidity or frequency, or I don't know what it is. But the concept here is simple. It's just to give us a Unify. I've wanted this since the first day of Unify. It's taken this long. We can finally make our own melodies and stuff inside of Unify with our own step sequencer. We could do that with Blue ARP 2 to a certain point, but it's a different interface. I like this interface a lot. And now we can have it so it's not tied to what you play on the keyboard. You can have it on the keyboard if you want, of course. And we have patches doing that. But now you can have it to where it can be just this like other thing. And then just have a pad on top of that you play. It's just so fun, man. Off you go. I mean, believe me, I have jammed with this for a lot of hours. It's really, really fun. This is all using sounds only inside of the standard library. So this will be a patch included with the voicing when we release the updates. So, hi Don, welcome. Yeah, I've been at this for 5 years and I'm still in love with what we do. For those of you just now joining us, we have a built-in ability now with the step sequencer to have it not listen to what you play on the keyboard. And that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's a really big deal because now you can have a unified layer like this that has 4 step sequencers that are doing nothing but modular synth doodly. Let's turn on the drums. It's just, and I'm not doing anything. So I can have a pad, mod wheel to bring up the synth parts. I can play with this and just have this really cool little synthy ditty thing. This is what people like get their, the Berlin techno thing is just to have a whole bunch of things that just sit there and play and then you jam with it, you know? It's so fun. And then I have a string part right here. This has got a really cool automated thing, so when I hit run, the strings come up. So I'm playing. Turn on the drums. The strings a little bit because I have their default volume up, so I can bring them down. also have a couple other things. If I open up the metronome, I've got parts here I can turn these parts off. And they don't go off yet. They're still playing. I'm going to stop the drums, and the next time I start them up, it'll be updated. Some more parts on. Got the claps. And then we're ready for everything to go crazy, so we go like this. Turn this on. This will be my busy part. Reset. I'm going to turn this so I now have the bass line going. So off you go. I could just like ignore you guys for an hour easily. So that's one of the capabilities that's brand new that we are bringing out in Unify 3.00.2. It's really, really, really fun because now you have control over going over to the drums and turning on parts and off parts and let them stop for a measure. Hit start again. It waits until the downbeat of the next measure to start, so you sound like you're a professional with an album that you just released while you're playing it live. It's really, really, really cool. So that is one part of 3.00.2. There is another very big, substantial, maybe even bigger than this, although this for me is maybe bigger, but for a lot of you that do composing, film scoring, things of that nature, this next thing I'm going to show you is monstrous in some respects. Somebody in our forums requested us to look at better options for MIDI note handling. There's some programs out there that do really smart, intelligent note management so that you can do orchestration things and so forth. And it's a big, big challenge. I'm not going to even name the companies. I have respect for them, and there's companies, and we're not trying to replace them. We're taking some of the ideas that they've implemented and putting them into Unify. The advantage we have over anything else is that we have this interface for plugins. So you can set something up where there's these applications for note management, and a lot of times they are a separate application outside of your DAW. So you have to get all this stuff wired, you have to get it all routed. And I've heard a lot of feedback from a lot of people that have spent a lot of money and they still don't have it working because they don't understand how to get it routed and stuff. You can do all of that inside of Unify. What I'm talking about is we have the ability now with a really cool little plugin. We call it Notemate, and it's a MIDI effect that looks like this. And what it does is it's got 8 voices of polyphony, and you have a little grid as to where each of those notes of polyphony get placed. And the advantage of this is, like in a case like this, I have a pad and I have a bass, so I can play the bass. And when I play one note and then I play new notes, watch this. It's going to now play the pad. And the advantage of this, you got to be really careful how you play these. But with this, check this out. Let's go to the keyboard so you can see what I'm doing. I can play a chord. And now I can take this note and go above. I'm playing that bass up high now. It's not a key split. It's based on what notes you play. So you have to work on your technique of how to play these if you're trying to do like bass and chord things. In some cases, it's still smart to use just a split. Where this becomes really, really handy is if you go to something like this. This is using strings. And I've loaded up 3 contacts of their string libraries that are part of this library right here. I got the Contact Native Instruments Complete a while back, so it included the whole Symphony Essentials, as they call it, and it's okay. I know that there's definitely better libraries out there, but we have the solo ensembles, and for woodwinds, strings, and brass. There's brass, solo brass ensembles and stuff like that. So with this, I am doing things like I've got a violins and violas and cellos, so I can play 2 notes. And the third note I play is now the cello. Right? So you can now do smart voice allocation for orchestrations using different rules that we have for how it's going to organize them. We have a transpose parameter, so if I wanted the cellos to be up an octave, and the other thing about this is I could go to the cello part and play above the split range. So it no longer is looking at an actual split. So it's mapping the notes in different ways. As you can see, we have this thing that says tab. Let me show you one more example. This is our symphony version. I just played with these really quickly. We've been just working on this. This is loading up 10 instruments, violin, viola, cello, solo flute, solo oboe, clarinet, trumpet, 2 French horns, and a tuba. And I have made 3 different tabs, and each tab can have a different organization of what you do here. And as you see, I have up to 3 different sets of 8 voices I could map onto different ranges of the keyboard to do all sorts of different things. So with this, I have a key split so that the melody is here. And if I just play one on the left hand, it's just cellos. So you can do all sorts of really cool orchestration things with voice polyphony mapping, setting up how you want it to work to do all sorts of really fun things. So this is this is one of those Shane. I used to tell you guys about these Shane moments where I'd get this message from Shane. Hey, want to see something cool? And he'd have like, trigger box or MIDI box or something. Paul did a Shane because he's like, check this out. Someone on the forum suggested this, and so I was just playing with this on vacation. He's on vacation, so he's not supposed to be doing anything. He's been working for a year straight, basically, right? He's on vacation, and he builds this on his vacation. So God bless him. God bless him. It's a wonderful thing. It's a similar thing to Divisimate. Divisimate does a lot more than this. It does arpeggiations. It's got the ability to scene key mapping. This is just note management. We thought it would be really fun to add something like this to Unify because so many of you guys that do orchestration stuff, it's complicated. And now you've got this whole setup into a song file and it's stuck to that song file. So you have to load that song file and delete everything and use just that every time. This lets you create patches. I can go over here to the woodwind trio and now I have and then I can go, I need this, and I just call this up, and I don't have to like have everything loaded up that I need. And let me show you real quickly because I didn't. The tabs, right now we have these advances this way with the tabs. And if you right click, you can learn these 2 controllers. So like if I let's see, I'm trying to feel here. So if I do this one and this one, I can now go like this to advance the tabs each direction, right? So I can go from, I can change. Now it's minor chord. Now it's a major chord. And each one can have its own voicings and transpositions and then back to playing with the regular. So this could be strings, synths, whatever you want. It's not just for, Divisimate is really aimed at orchestration. This is just note management, giving you options to play with it. We have options up here for duplicating the layout if you want to modify and make different versions with different transpositions. Renaming the tab itself. Here's your buttons for shifting. If you want to shift it up and down, you can move the tabs in order this way, stuff like that. And then here's your choices for what the voicings do with each one. And there's random. If I set this to random, now it's just going to be randomly. So it's for fun, creative stuff. It's just MIDI manipulation of notes. We have similar things with Polybox, which it does like wave sequencing things. This is just another way to play with notes. And so we wanted to incorporate something like that into Unify because it makes sense. Since you have this place where you can load as many instruments as you want, to have this kind of thing built into it just makes it that much easier to use. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. So hopefully the end of the week, before Christmas is our goal. So that's the plan. So Notemate, the ability inside of our step sequencer to now just hit play on the sequencer and all sorts of stuff can take off and play for you. These things are coming in the next update, which is free to all Unify 2 owners. So please grab Unify. It's only $69 to update, and it's brand new $149 for all its capabilities. And that's less than even the full price of Divisimate 2 by itself, which doesn't include any libraries or anything. It's just the application. Now you have to set it up. So for those of you into the deep orchestration with the full orchestras and stuff, that's probably still the way to go because it's so powerful. And we're not trying to like copy what they do, except for just the note management concept. It makes sense that we have that in Unify because we are about manipulating everything that we can and giving you fun ways of playing with all the plugins you own. And that's a really, really fun place to play. Let me tell you, it's really fun. Yeah, we'll have to do something like that on the manual that you guys are talking about. Oh, now he's back from vacation. We'll be taking breaks during Christmas break, of course, and stuff like that. But anyway, those are really, really exciting things coming to Unify. So I'm really excited about that. Let me show you really quickly. If we go here to Ice Streams, it has been growing quite substantially since we last showed it to you last week. I now have something like 25 different bells to go along with the winds. Maybe I'll give you a quick demo. We'll do I'm thinking we might try to do a step sequencer. I'll show you how it works to make a windstorm, because part of this library is a whole bunch of wind sound effects that I made with my mouth, actually. So we've got... It's kind of weird to hear your mouth back when you play the keyboard, but these sounds are really cool. And if I go over here and I just say load the layers, I can like click 3 of these, turn them down because they're very loud. And then if we were to add maybe, let's say a Goo Sampler 2. Did I do any special effects default patches? I did. I did a noise shot. Then I can just go in here and I can change this to be like this. And let's go to LFO 3 and have this be sample and hold. Bring up some intensity and assign this to... And we're going to use the new, there's a feature inside of this now called Smooth. Without it, as you can see, it's really steppy. But if you bring up Smooth, it'll smooth it out. So we can make all sorts of really cool, let's see, let's bring down our key tracking. add wind along with these other sounds. Notice they're looped because they're still playing, right? Now, if we wanted to watch this, we could say, take this and turn this into a Unify layer. And I can say, copy this layer and open this Unify layer up, and then just go over here and say, paste, paste. And then I'm going to go to, let's see, let's get rid of that layer and go copy. And go over here and say, paste. Get rid of that. Copy. We can get rid of that. And go over here and say paste. I've now put my storm into a Unify layer all by itself. And I could go up here and I could say, give me a step sequencer. So we go arpeggiator is step sequencer. Don't use MIDI in. I'm going to set it to be whole notes. And I only want it to be like maybe, oh, I can only do 16 steps. Okay, well, I'll do 16 steps. I was going to say one step, but right? So we have this happening. Now let's make it so it's more believable. So you go over here, you'd say add delays. Let's see, I need to set the step sequencer though to be whole notes. And that's one major. We have to, oh, you know what I can do? I can use the hold. I think this is the one that will say just hold. No, tie to next step. Yeah, so if I tie these all together, there. Let's see if I get this set right. It should tie. We'll figure out if there's something that's not working right. This might, because this is a new way that we've been using this. So it should just keep going forever, but it's not. But anyway, we could now set that to where we had the arpeggiator starting this up by just going over here and saying right click and say global step sequencer toggle, I believe is what we want. And then let's see, is that this one that I set up? Yep. So we want to make this to be a control type of a toggle. There. Because the other thing we need to add to this Unify layer to make it convincing and wonderful is we'll add one other layer. Go instrument. We want to have a groove sampler 2. Maybe we'll just say new layer, make it just from scratch. And we'll say changes to groove sampler 2. And the map I want to use from Ice Dreams. So we go down here to Ice Dreams. I have jingle bells. I have 6 different types of jingle bells. So as you can see, I'm going to use the large tree with the long release. And let's put a step sequencer here. Step sequencer, turn off notes, and just have it play 8th notes. So now when I hit start, let's see, what am I doing wrong? I need to make sure that I've got this. I'm doing beta testing in live before you guys, so let's see. That step sequencer should start it, and this step sequencer should start inside of here and should be playing. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably the wrong note. There. There it is. Jingle bells. And we need to slow it down a little bit because it's a little fast. So let's say there. So and then on top of this, I could have bells. So we could go up here to these bells and say, let's have this bell, load this in just layer 1. And let's have a finger symbol and this lovely additive synth bell and say there. So I can make soundscapes Here, we'll save this because I want to work on it so that it's... Oh, you know, I need to use this not to toggle, but to switch, I think. So global switch. Because toggle means you toggle it once it's on. There, now it's on and off. Okay, so let me save this because it's a work in progress, and I'll send this to Paul, and we'll figure out why step sequencers aren't playing wind special effects and stuff like that. So Z, let's say or bells, and say holiday, stormy, cheer, and I'll figure all this other stuff out as we go. But just the idea that we can go like that, and have a cool sound effect thingy, and maybe a ho 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 in the background. I mean, you can make whatever you want now as a background texture that will take off and do whatever you want it to do. So really cool. Let me show you some of the other sounds so I don't get stuck just doing that. Inside this library, on top of, well, let me show you some of the bells. There's a really cool, these are the additive bells. I made bells like this way back in the day for Mariah Carey's Christmas album. I played strings and bells on that album, which was very fun. And this is from a new plugin that just came out. This is a freebie because I wasn't even going to talk about this, but let me show you where this is. It's really cool. Let me go to date modified so I can find it. It's Radical is the name of it. So if I go over here and say Radical, it's from this company called Sound Radix. And it's an, oh. I'm not sure who is at fault there, but whoops. Let's see if I go Radical from here, will it? There it is. Sometimes there's memory things and leaky things, and I don't know if that's us or Radical, since it's a new plugin from a relatively new company, but it's an additive synthesizer that just came out. Search for Sound Radix. Here, let me find the website for you, because I don't have this prepared because I wasn't going to tell you about it, but it's really cool. And so if Radical, colorful additive synthesizer, it's not cheap per se. It's this right here. It's called Radical. But we know I can use it as an additive synth to make sounds and make libraries, so it's worth it for me to invest in something like this. And it's really, really fun to work with the way that he's done. You've got these, basically, it's in some ways, it's kind of like Unify in that you can have layers and layers and layers, and then you have audio effects and so forth in this one interface over here. And it can get into some pretty cool categories of sounds. Let's see if we go over here to distortion. It's got a really cool character to it. Right? So then if you open up each one of these, you have brightness controls and things that are controlling all of these frequency harmonics in really interesting, cool ways. So layer one, advanced. So I used this to make this Ice Dreams Bells patch. I just kind of spent a lot of time getting the right frequency. I actually made it a really complex. But I also then, because it's layer based, I muted a whole bunch of the layers to make a. And then I also have a velocity switching version, which if you open this up, it's really easy to do velocity switching in Unify. Right here are your velocity window ranges. So here, if I actually change the order, if I click this and say you go at the bottom, 0 to 102 is this sound, And then once I play past 102, this starts at 103 to 127. So now I can. So huge, 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 huge. On top of that, the bell bar. That's with a harder mallet. Here's soft. Finger cymbals. That's, let's see if I can not pull out my headphones. I can get over here. That's these two dudes right here. And you can carefully play these together, and it's two different tones. If you play them, let's see if I have any of my mounts. Oh, 1 second. I'm going to go get my mounts real quick over here. So, right here. So a lot of these I played with this mallet. It's got a hard rubber. It takes a lot of work and patience. If you want to see for this library, this is the Logic file with just some of the samples chopped up that I've done. I believe right here is somewhere around 700 samples right here alone, 768 samples here. Then there's a set of all of these I sent to Taylor, and he chopped these all up. And then there's another set that I've done and chopped up that were all of these. So it's a lot of work. It's why we don't just give these away for $19, is because we spent so many hours to make these and carefully record them. This is the single finger cymbals, one at a time. There's one, there's two, and you can kill the reverb if you want. Right? And then I have all these different bells. That's these guys. And carefully, very carefully playing it. Try not to get the inside thing to hit and vibrate. It would take 20 takes to get just one. That would be just right, but really cool character. And there's 4 of them. And they're really fun. Check this out. If you want to see something really fun, if you go to the standard library, let's just go to the piano key. Let's say right here, load this into the Unify layer. Layering bells with all sorts of instruments. Let's open this Unify layer. Because it is a Unify layer, I could go down here, choose something else. Like say I want to go to like electric pianos like this. Anywhere you use bells, well, maybe not with a clav, unless you're Herbie. It's a really cool harmonic content to layer with all sorts of things. That's why I like to make lots of bells, because the places you can use them are far more than just as a little bell part. And again, for the arpeggiated little background things, just have something like that, and you got string orchestras to play and layer with. Is really fun. Goldie. I believe that's this one. Again, really hard to hit this without it vibrating the little tongue inside of it, but here's velocity switching. A lot of these have round robins, so you can get really cool where Hear all the little noises and stuff on some of them. I let some of those go through. So tons of bells. I was kind of the bell guy at Korg on all the workstations. I would always show up with, 6 to 10 bell patches, and one of them would be the #1 bell patch in the libraries usually. So that's one of my claims to fame, is I love to make bells. A little more cloppy. Now this is one of a whole bunch of I made 6 different patches in Korg's ARP 2600. This is one of them. And it sounds really cool down low because it's multi-samples and all that. So you combine this with real bells and you get some really, really cool. Let's add like the prayer mallet, and let's add a bell bar and turn that down a little bit. It's good stuff. Really, really fun. White ceramic is a really cool. Where are they? These are the white ceramic bells. They're little tiny guys. Ring, babies, ring. And I carefully sampled and tuned them and mapped them all into one bell. So they're nice and range. That's mallet 1, which is hard. Mallet 2, soft. So, really, really nice. Here's a 2600 noisy lead. And again, this is like camouflaged because there's a whole bunch of ways I can use this. If I make this polyphonic, a slow envelope, and I have like the LFO doing fun things to this and a long release. And it becomes a really cool element to layer with other sounds. Like here's another one of the 2600 patches that I did. This is a really lovely string pad. Cajonas to it, and you combine that with that air and it gets really nice. Right? Another bell sound that I did that's really lovely is the notch strings. In the library. So on top of those, we now get into jingles. Let me show you the menus. There's 6 different jingle bells, and I have them right here so I can show them. #1 jingle bell, the winner of Jingle of All Jingles, is this dude. Just a massive mountain of jingles in the note of D. So you have these, as well as you can see up here, there's crescendos. And these are tuned. So you take this and you layer it with the notch strings, and it's like, oh my goodness, what are you doing, you know? really, really cool texture to have. I even have them panning. And I have them for like almost all of the 6. I don't know if I did them for all of them, but so that's Jingle Bell number 1 right here, the large. Number 2 is a little toy set. And they sound lovely. Number 3 is the Red Trio jingles. These 3. Just the 3 by themselves. There they are. Number 4 is a big single jingle. And it's right here. And you play like dance songs and you put this with it, and it's a very, very cool vibe. It's kind of celebratory, but it's not as like in your face as the big jingles. Number 5 is the tiny single. I went to a Christmas party last weekend, and this was in one of my presents. This little tiny jingle bell. The tiniest jingle bell. I actually have tinier, but check this out. And there's like 50 samples. So you can make all sorts of jingle patterns of your own. Jingle bells number 6 is the micro jingles. Look at how tiny these are. This is a little wrist or anklet and incredible frequencies. I use these also down here for a really cool shiny textures. Because putting these with pads makes me really happy, right? Well, here they are as jingles. Oh, I might have to fix this because I renamed something. Yeah, so it's not fixed. Hold on one second. We're fixing together. Percussion, jingle bells, menu 6, micro. Just crazy frequency because there's so many tiny little jingles. So you got 6 different kinds of jingles. I'll be having all sorts of rhythmic fun with those this week. The breath winds I showed you. Those will be layered for really cool things with pads. Could you take something like this and you put it with like the notch strings and go over here and you say, no, don't do, just say unpitched, so they don't. Put effects and reverb and stuff. It's going to be really, really cool. So all sorts of icy dreams will be made there. I also have these long breaths. These are looped, so you have this texture to play with. If you want, you can open up Groove Sampler and move past the just to the breathy part. And now you have really cool noise textures that are looped to play with. I showed you the micros, the monsters are kind of funny. That's me with distortion and crazy stuff, and then the fun wins. So there's still a lot to do. Let me show you a couple. Here's like 15 bells ringing. This is 15 different bell patches. Mariah would be happy. Here's other things like Powerful Bell Tower. Oh, I got one more sound to show you that I'm really proud of. I made a synth recorder out of the ARP 2600. And I looped it. It was so hard to loop this sucker, but it's looped. If you open up the filter, No crossfades. Perfect loops. No phasey stuff. Takes so much. It takes forever to do that kind of stuff. Holiday Stormy Cheer. Busy at the North Pole. I think I showed this last week, right? And some of the bells aren't playing because I've renamed and I have to fix them. Airy Bell Piano. So it'll be over 150 patches come Christmas time. Kris Kringle's Dream. Okay, let's get this one working. This needs to be the Jingle Bell Crescendo. So let's go over here to Crescendo 2. And this is supposed to be what? Oh, Jingle Bells Soft RR. So it's Jingle Bells. This is the hard Jingle Bells. Hard. And we'll just call this up really quick so we can get this to work. Jingle Bells Soft. There we go. So you can see some of the places we're going to go sonically. It's really cool. Let's add that recorder that I did. Say recorder, synth recorder. Add this. Really fun stuff. So Ice Dreams is nicely in the works. Can't wait to share this with you guys. I'm not a wizard. I just like playing with sounds. All right, so there's some things to show you that have happened this week. We have released some lovely plugins have come out this week. Absynth is a synth that is very special to my little heart. It was actually one of the first synthesizers in software form. I'd played, you know, I was around when plugins came out and I played with the first plugins that Steinberg released. In fact, I was going to ask, let me ask ChatGPT something. I just love to play with sound, guys. So I got to ask Chat this. What was the very first official CIO VST plug-in ever in 1996? I was trying to remember what was, and I can't remember, so I'm going to ask Chat to remind that. So in 1996, Steinberg released Cubase 1.0, which introduced VST 1.0. They bundled a couple native effects. Stereo Echo is recognized as the very first VST plugin ever shipped. Other early Panner and Stereo Echo and stuff like that. No third-party plugins yet. Yeah, so it's not, no, okay, what about instrument? What about first instrument? Because I'm just curious, what were the first ones? Because Neon was their first subtractive synthesizer. It's monophonic, basic, zero glamour. Maybe Neon. I can't remember. I played with them back in the day, but 1996 is an awful long time ago. It's 30, is it 30 years, 40 years, 30? Yeah, long time ago. Absynth came out in 2000, 4 years later. And the thing that was interesting with Absynth was it had an interface that wasn't trying to be, we have all this physical world of synthesizers with knobs, analog, subtractive synthesizers. And that was kind of what most of the plugins tried to do, or they were early samplers for playing samples, so forth like that. And then Absynth came out of nowhere from this unknown developer named Brian Clevenger. I did a whole lot of research and found he was in France. He originally is from Minneapolis, I believe. We've interviewed him here before in the past. If you look at my channel, he's a wonderful friend of mine. I don't think I've ever met him in person. I was trying to think if there's a NAMM show that he came to that I met him at or something like that, but I can't remember right now. But the interesting thing behind it was when I got Absynth, it was so revolutionary and just different from a different side of your brain. I made a whole bunch of patches and I sent them in a very, this is the coolest plugin ever to Brian. The very next release of Absynth, he included all of my patches in the factory voicing of Absynth 1.0.2 or something like that. It was way, way back there. So I've had voices and I've had a relationship with Absynth since the very first day it was released, basically. Absynth 2, when it came out, I worked with Native Instruments. We did a card of patches with some other wonderful programmers. I still have an unwrapped of that library somewhere in my boxes of storage and stuff like that. But it's a really, really cool synth. A couple years ago, Native Instruments ended their relationship with Absynth. It hadn't been updated to Apple Silicon. It was going to take a lot of work to put it into the new architectures that they're using at Native Instruments and stuff like that. And about a year ago, I didn't know any of this because Brian's not telling anybody when he's doing this stuff. But it's been about a year. He's been working on getting Absynth updated to the new protocols and engine and support and everything, making sure it was backwards compatible with patches, adding some subtle few things. It's not so much about new things at this point. It's just about getting it here. There is some nice things. So let me show you real quickly. Let's go over here. I always load a master with just the EQ and stuff. It just makes everything sound just a little bit better. Now I have a little bit of flexible control. Absynth. Oh, you know what? I need to turn on Absynth 6 because I was trying to get Absynth 5 to work to show my patches, and I can't get the VST version to load for some reason. But if I go over here, select fucking BIOS to scan, I'm going to do this off screen just so that we're safe. I have some things in here you can't see what I'm working on. So let's go like that, say Absynth 6 right here. There. So now we close this up and say Absynth. So Absynth, well, here's Absynth 5, just so we can see where we're coming from, right? Absynth 5 was around for probably 12 years without being updated. Very green. You could go to the browser and go to the different patches. Here's my power pack. I don't know if these patches will even load up in this. I didn't try to make them work, but... So Absynth has this really unique interface. If we go over here to the patch, you basically have 3 different sound oscillators, you could call them. You have different types of synthesis you can use, including a wonderful granulator and all sorts of things that they've added over time. The update to 6, it took a lot of work to get this all back so that it's all there and compatible and sounds identical. The thing that is really powerful is the envelopes. It has arguably, without a doubt, the most powerful envelopes of any synthesizer ever created by anybody. You have the ability to turn on an LFO on the envelope so that it's modulating up and down as it's going through the steps of the envelope. It has the ability to go to any one of these nodes and pop up a control change. If I was to let's see, I need to is it shift? Is it shift? Yeah, it's shift to click. If you go to any one of these can be assigned to any of the real-time controllers just for that one frickin' node of an envelope. So the power is just insane if you get into it. Here's Absynth 6. Let's go like this. Let's say mute, and let's say duplicate just for fun. And then let's say Absynth 6. ABS 6. And it's a whole different thing. They've gone to the nice flat, pleasant to look at, no colors popping out. Don't want any offensive colors. Oh no, someone's going to freak out. But you see, as a comparison, Absynth 5 was like this, and here's Absynth 6. So they've definitely taken it into, it's the same thing. It's still 3 oscillators. You have the ability to see things. It's bigger. It's easier to read. The interface is more clear. Go to the effects. It's got really beautiful things happening that don't happen over here, you know, that type of stuff. So it has just a lot of attention to detail that the first one didn't have. Let's see, do I have, oh, this is still muted. So. Yeah. They have two different ways of looking at the patches. You can click right here to change between what they call their Explorer. They turn on Audition by default, which means that when you click, it will play a sound. These are the colors for the categories, so you can like, to me this is pretty useless, but for some people they like this kind of an interface. You can turn this off, and then over here you now have the ability to see things. There are tabs over here. They make it very difficult to understand, but they have types and banks and characters as categories. And if you go to banks, you'll see I have my power pack in here, and I loaded it up, and it plays. Sounds great. If we go over here to the, is it the sign? They now, instead of the sliders, they have these, and you click right here to change between the two different sets of knobs. So you can still mess them up like I programmed them. This is one of my favorite patches. Check this out. Check this out. Look over here, envelope. This is the big one. And see if I was trying to figure out if I could get this to it. I can't get it to show me the whole thing. And somehow I haven't learned the interface for how to zoom. But check this out. One note. One note. It's playing this really cool melody. Here's Pulsation Nirvana, which is doing the thing where this is changing envelope segments. So the envelopes are all up, or you can bring down beats or up beats. This would be a good time to point out we have a sale going on at the website. I'm not very good at promotion sometimes. But if you want to come over here, we have a multi-buy sale. So what it basically means, let me get up the big graphic so you can see over here. Where did I put it? Right. Oh, it's over here. Go right here. There. It's a multi-buy sale, meaning that if you buy one library, you get 40%. If you buy two libraries, it's 48%. If you buy 3 libraries, I'm going all the way to 55% off to give you guys a chance to save lots of money. Get big savings when you go up with the number in your cart. So I usually stop at 50%, as you know, that's my cap. But it's money's tight, and you know we've got to make some noise. So if you want to take advantage of the sale, please do so. It's at the site. This library is compatible with Absynth 6, as you can see. I have it up. It's such a cool library, man. I think this has me talking if I turn these two parts off. That's me from 30 years ago, or something like that. There's the effects that were going on, the delays. All sorts of stuff. So you can go through all the different, there's a whole bunch of different libraries. So because Absynth, it's really funny. It's always been kind of like I call it the spice on the mix. You'd add this on top of your important parts that were being played. You know, it just has this really cool just really, really cool sounds. But I made the Power Pack because I wanted to do the really cool synth sounds, like for the songs. did a THX so you can right? I mean, I did these like 30 years ago and they're still it's a great library. But I wanted to make strong sounds that had really, you could use this as like the main sound in its track. And so much of the patches in Absynth are like, there are some usable cool stuff, of course. But it's mostly that's kind of like, so this would tie in really well with the step sequencer doing really cool modular things and just weird background noises and stuff like that. So Absynth is out. It's a $99 upgrade if you own a past version of it, which is very fair for the amount of work that was put into bringing it to life, getting it back to our hands so we have it to play with. It's ready to go into the future. The thing I'm the most excited about is there's a working relationship between Brian and Native Instruments, so they can work together and continue to do other things. So that warms my heart, makes me very, very happy. So that is at nativeinstruments.com. Here is their website. Of course, if you just go nativeinstruments.com, Absynth 6 is right there on the front page with its cool graphics and all that kind of stuff. Weird by design, yeah. But it's also able to do a lot more than that. So yeah, so that came out. Zebra 3 is now in the public for you to play with. I've been playing with it for probably 6 months or more. Actually, most of the year, I've had betas of it to play with. I'm on their beta team. I get to check out what they're working on and share stuff and help them. And it's been just wonderful. Really cool patches in this. Let's see. Do I have sound not working for some reason? Oh, it's muted. It sounds great. There's a whole lot of new capabilities here. I'm not going to go into all the details because it's just so deep. But here's oscillator 1. And as you can see, you now have an area down here with a big right button, which if you click, takes you to an editor with all sorts of architecture, 3D modeling tools. It has this ability to have different waveforms that are changing over time. So I can put this somewhere in here. And now if I move my timeline, the waveform changes, as you can see, based on what I do. So if I make this waveform here more complex and add more to it, let's see if I... Hello, there we go. So if I make this more like this, now as it goes through this, you'll see that it's even doing more interpolative stuff. And if I add by double clicking here, I think I can hold on, is it like shift or something? There's some way to click something and like say add. And again, I'm not one that designs waveforms at that level, but you can do that. And now this will now morph and you can modulate this to do all sorts of cool things. Per oscillator, it's still got 4 basic columns that can be stacked to the gills with all sorts of things if you want. And it's just, it can go really cool, huge places. The new filter, check this out. It has the ability with this grid to choose all sorts of filter types. So you have your different low pass, band pass, high pass. As you click around, you're actually engaging those different filters. It's very, very powerful in so many different ways. There's a new physical modeling and comb. Now, when you play this in Unify, if you go over here to the settings on the wrench, there is this option right here, automatic reset on playback. You can turn it off, and in a beta version I had, it worked. The public beta version, it's not working. It's back to being mono. See how it cuts off audio? So you have to go over to the transport inside of Unify and set this to manual start and stop. They'll fix that. It worked. I had it working. I wrote to them and said, yay, you got it working. I'm so happy. And then this comes out and it doesn't work. Even when it's on and it says off, it doesn't work. So they'll fix it. It'll get fixed. But just so you know, if you want to play this in Unify, sounds nice this way. If you set this to MIDI quick stop, it's clicky. It comes out the, what happens is a lot of these plugins, actually there's not that many. There's Serum and Zebra. I think their Repro also does this. When it gets to the clock stop, it just kills all audio. So if there's reverb or notes hanging over it, it immediately cuts them off. And it's nice in a DAW to be able to do that, but we're not a DAW. We're a real-time environment where we want to play with it and we want it to sound like this. Without any clicks, but you hear that clicky? That's because we are not on manual stop. Anyway, so this is available at the Uhi website. So go over here, Uhi. And there's also now, they've released Zebra 3 with all of its voicing and stuff. It's basically the mini oscillator that they developed for Zebra. So they did a smart thing of creating a smaller, simpler version and then incorporating that into the big Zebra. So you can try out both of those on the uhi.com website. They have press release news, and I'll just click right here at the very top of their page and it takes you to this so you can download them, play with them. They have a new, it's the first, I haven't seen this before. You get a card for all of your licenses. It's like a credit card or something that you load it into it, it reads it, and that authorizes all the plugins to work. So it's a cool system. I kind of like it, so it's really nice. Yeah, I have had Absynth. It's a good drink. Yeah, one of my faves since. So excited to see that. Yeah, so I'm glad Absynth is out. Next up on the list, let me show you something that's kind of fun and cool. If you recall when, let's see, a couple of the libraries have come out. We've had Chris, I can't remember his last name off the top of my head. He's known as Signs of Life on YouTube. He has a channel, and he created all sorts of ambient soundtracks. He has a record label that he has on Bandcamp. Really, really, really cool stuff. If you're into ambient music, he's on the cutting edge of all that kind of stuff. Well, he partnered up with Dawsome, and they released a really cool free reverb called Soul, Signs of Life, S-O-L. And let's do this. Let's call up something nice and fun to play with. Let's say a slow. Let's go here and say S-O-L, and it's down the list right here. And we can resize the interface. That's SOL doing its thing. Isn't that cool? So if I was to go to a sound that's looped, this sound here isn't looped, but we could go to like the synth recorder. Let me turn this down, it's a little loud. Sorry. So it has some fun things. This is your wet dry mix. By the way, this is a free download. I'll put links in the video description. I haven't done them yet, but DawesomeMusic.com, D-A-W-E-S-O-M-E music.com. If you just go Dawsome and then type S-O-L, this will take you there to get this. It's free to everybody. A pre-save feature. What we have is, I don't know if this is the same thing as pre-save, but we have auto-save every time you change patches. For example, let's say I was trying to do something over here and I accidentally changed patches and I called up breath. And it's like, oh, cool, but I lost my patch. It's gone. Inside of the settings, on the settings page, right here, we have this auto save, and you can choose up to 10 files that it will auto save. What you do is this little back circle. If you right click on this, it will pop up the last, anytime you change patches and you've edited, it saves. So if I go back here to the pan flute slow, it will call up right where I was when I changed patches. So I don't know if that's the same thing as autosave, but hey, Chris is here, dude. Brother, cool plugin, man. Really nice. For one thing, the reverb, by the way, if you go over here, it's twinkling. It's divided into your modular and your reverb on the right. So, and it's that kind of reverb that's just beautiful. The filtering is very smartly after the reverb, so you can filter it. And then you bring it back to bright again. Like if we were playing with something brighter, we're kind of on a dark sound right now, but if we were to be, let's just say Unify Standard Library, just a nice sawtooth waveform. Isn't that beautiful? It's just, and then if you filter, it'll filter it down, and you can go back to bright again if you want. Also really cool, this little satellite up here. At first, Paul and I were thinking this would be how you click to get to all the secret parameters and stuff inside, but it's not. What it does is it locks the wet-dry mix. So now if I change patches right here and go to other patches, my wet-dry mix doesn't change. So I can set this where I want it to be. So really, really cool. You put this on a pad. Let's do this. Let's copy this. And let's go over here to, let's just say all libraries pad, because we're in a hurry. Let's say time to let go. So this is lovely and calm. Hold down shift, click the plus, it pastes it right in there. And now you have this just really lovely ambient growing pad. And then you can turn on, let's do this. Let's go to Metronome and say U2. Let's say something, I don't have, this might be Robot Pilot, might be something like this. Let's say like maybe 90 beats per minute. That's a little stompy. There we go. You know, you could build from this and do all sorts of fun things if you wanted to, but it's a really cool free effect. My hope and guess is that this is 1.0, and at some point maybe he will do a 2.0 with Dawson and give us more controls and more fun things, you know? There has to be more. There has to be more, dude. So now anytime you start and stop the metronome, it goes a measure and then stops. So it stops in a nice musical way. We go here and say U2. You can find something else, like maybe Rains of Africa could be cool. Say if we want to have some fun, we can say BPM pads. Let's say BPM. That's not the right vibe I want. I don't want that. So go BPM pad. Say all. Here we go. This will work. brighter. Let's say over here, let's go over here and have BPM Plux. What the heck? Let's add this. Yeah, so you just build and build and build and have fun. And Soul's just sitting here doing its thing. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. 6,000 lexicon. Oh, really? Okay, cool, cool. This ain't bad for free, and it has just, when you're doing reverb, doing really, really long reverb that has no repeatable stuff to it it's not easy. So congrats on this lovely effect, and thank you for making it free for everybody to enjoy. Isn't that cool? So it definitely adds, without it, nice to have it there. You know, in moderation. This is where Unify comes in really handy. We can go to the knobs and just really quickly, let's go to a knob that's not being used. Oh my gosh. Here's one that's not being used. So we open up Signs of Life and we would say, give me the ear. And then we just change the wet dry mix and then hit run. And then set this to be like maybe 4, so now it's doing its thing. And automating it. Oh, one other cool feature that Paul added, as I'm like killing the output over here, sorry. If you hit mute, check this out. Mute now kills everything that Unify is doing, but it leaves the drum Unify, the metronome, intact so you can hear it. So you can now mute whatever's going on here just to practice and refine what you want the rhythm to be doing without having to go over here and like mute, and try to get it set like that. You can just hit the global mute and it now mutes the synth parts, but keeps the drums. And again, for those of you new to Unify, we have this really cool metronome that's got drums and all this kind of stuff going on. We have all this stuff going on with automation, and we have a recorder. I could just open this up. I could say, I want to record as all layers and the metronome. Hit record. Let's see. Let's say reset and record. And it's recording. When I hit stop, if I right click, it will open up the folder with wave files for every track, every stem, all the metronome as its own. Here's the metronome, the drums are here. Here's the master mix of everything right here, so I can play the whole mix. Right? And then I also have the stems. If I want just the first pad, you know, layer 1. So it records everything separately. So now I can play without having to be in a DAW and like trying to like do it that way. I can be just playing and having fun, hit record at any time, record out all the elements, put those into my DAW, and off I go. So cool. Well, thank you all for joining us. Oh, good. I'm glad you're just getting started. That's good news. That's good news. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. It's time for me to go wash my dog. She needs a bath. Otherwise, I'd stay here all day and just keep playing. But yeah, so 2.0.3 will be coming out. Once again, for those of you late, let me show you really quickly. Chris, you'll dig this. So we have now the ability to have all sorts of, well, basically the step sequencer now has the ability to ignore note input for starting. It can now start and auto run as if it was like a modular synth. So I can now go over here to the first set and I can just hit start. And 4 parts are just taken off. And I can play with it. I can stop it, turn on the drums. I got strings on an automated part I can go. Really cool rain as a texture. You can add a rhythm to it. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna turn on some added drums, turn it off. And the next time I start these up, it's gonna start on the downbeat and there's gonna be more stuff. Over here and I can hit a button and it's going to turn off the layer for the left hand and turn on bass. So now I have a pad and a split. So it opens up a whole new world of having really cool modular synth, whatever you want. You could have unlimited number of layers, tuck them into a Unify layer, have it all in the interface, it doesn't matter. But you hit start and certain things can start playing that you don't have to do anything about, that you can now jam with. So that is coming in 2.0.3 as a free update. The other free thing that we are adding is Paul talked to some people in our forums. Our forums is a great place to bring ideas and suggestions and requests, and they turn into things like this. Over his vacation time, he created a little MIDI effect called Notemate, which allows us to allocate notes based on polyphony. So as you can see here, I have 2 zones out of the keyboard. On the right hand, I have a flute, oboe, clarinet, trumpet, and French horn. And the left hand, I have cellos when I play one note. And then the next notes add violas and violins and French horns. And I have 3 different tabs up here, so I can change to another tab, and now it's a minor chord. Or a major chord, right? And I can use controllers to change between these. We're gonna have it so that you can use a slider to go between the tabs. You can have up to 10 tabs. So if you click plus, 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 you have up to 10 different scenes that you can cycle between. And these can be anything you want. There is programs that do things similar to this that connect through really complicated things to your DAW. This is, I think, a little bit easier because your sound libraries and this is all built into one patch. I can go to another patch, and now it's woodwinds for a little trio. And if you look, check this out. This is so fun. This fixes one of the challenges that I've been thinking about is like, you know, when you make a split, you have a hard split between this note and that note being on and off. Here it's polyphony based, so I can play 2 notes for the flute and the oboe. And then when I play the 3rd note, it's a clarinet. And I can play below those notes, and it's still the clarinet. So I can bounce around between those notes that are held down and play clarinet. So it opens up all sorts of fun things to have something that's allocating notes based on polyphony. Divisimate is a really cool program for those of you doing complete orchestral scores and stuff. This is not that. We don't do the chord things. We don't do a lot of things that they do. But the note mapping and stuff is something that Paul's like, somebody asked on the forums about this, and he shows me he already built most of it in like a handful of days on his vacation time. So we have that coming as a free addition to Unify 2. So for those of you doing film scoring, this opens up other places to create your soundscapes. And what's nice with this is you can take these patches and you can take them to different songs and just push a button, and now your whole setup is ready to go. There's no going in and reassigning everything for different sets and stuff like that. So it's going to be really exciting and fun to play with to have this in there. So this will be a Christmas present for you all. So coming before Christmas, we'll have Ice Dreams, the library, this update. So good times, right? All right, shout outs. Yeah, you guys are already doing your shout outs. Yeah. So shout out from Eagle, Idaho. Out from Eagle, Idaho. Good to see you all. Thanks for joining. It's a good time. Very good time. Thanks, Santa. Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, we do have the sale going on at our website. So let's see, where did I put it? I put it over here. If you want to get some inspiring patches, we have a whole bunch of libraries. The Absynth library works with Absynth 6. There wasn't anything really different. You just have to put it into the documents folder for Absynth 6. If you go over here to documents, let me find this really quick. And then native instruments, I believe is where, let's see, native instruments. No, actually, you know, I take that back. I think it was in the application support. So you would go, let me find it for you to show you really quick. Library. Excuse me. Native instruments. Yeah, so it's under application support on your Mac. I have a PC now, so but I don't have the exact thing. You'll find an Absynth 6 folder. This is where they put sounds, and this is where the various content is for, and they've protected everything now for their stuff. The sounds that I made for my library, it turned them into NABS after, I guess, because you have to import them in. Yeah, when you saved. Okay, yeah. So anyway, they go here. The patches go into, let's see, Absynth 6 libraries is where you will find where was sounds. Here we go, sounds. So sounds is where you'll put the Absynth folders for the patches, and then the samples go into the samples folder right here for the plugin guru samples. That's where the waves are, yeah. And so I think there are waves for everything here. If you want to play with wave samples, you can find all the samples that they include with Absynth 6 right here in these folders to pull them out, put them into Unify 2 if you want. It's really, really fun. But putting them into the Absynth 6 folder instead of the Absynth 5 folder will get you to where the library works so that you can call it up and play it. All right? All right. Shout out. Okay. St. Louis. I know. I should drink more. It's just, I have a little tea today. I love peppermint tea with honey. It's the best. New York. Canada, south of Germany, Netherlands. We're worldwide. I love it. I love seeing where you guys are at everywhere. South Africa. Ah, cool, cool. I love that. Yokohama, Japan, Kasaka-san. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Arigatou gozaimashita. Domo. Genki desu ka? Genki. Genki desu. Yes. Okay, cool. Well, take care, you all. Thank you for joining for another fun hang. And we'll see you next week. We'll do our Christmas live stream next week. Santa said he's going to show up, and he's got ice dreams, and he's got an update for Unify too. So it's going to be a good time. So, all right. See you then. Bye, everybody.